We were oh so close to hitting the dog of the night for UFC 307 with Marina Rodriguez just losing by split decision against Yasmin Lucindo. I thought she landed more damage throughout that matchup, or at least in I think it was the first and third. I could be off on the rounds, but there was one round where it was clear that she won. I believe all the judges scored it in her favor. And then the third round, she got saved by that stand-up. And I thought during that stand-up, she clearly landed more damage throughout that round. But then, judges ended up giving it to Lucindo. I think it was one of the judges that didn't give round one to Rodriguez, and that was the round that Rodriguez hurt Lucindo very badly. And had that round been scored in Rodriguez's favor, she probably would have ended up winning that fight anyway. But we end up ripping up that ticket at plus 150. We did have Juliana Pena cash in the co-main event as an underdog, but she was only a candidate, not the official dog that I play. So I have to take the L there. But the ACA dog does come through for us with Herderson Batista cashing at plus 105, getting the victory over his opponent, Alexander Matmuradov. Great work from him there. I believe he got a third round submission, but we did cash, I believe, on 4 underdogs on that ACA card as well. So very good weekend on underdogs for your boy. That now brings our yearly record to 40-71 for minus 9.96 units and a minus 9% ROI on the dog of the night play. Again, momentum is definitely on our side. We've managed to dig ourselves out a little bit of a hole that we created early in the year with poor dog picks. Now we're getting back on the right track and hopefully closing in closer to that black and eventually green by the ending of the year. All right, let's get right down to it. 3 dog of the night candidates, one of which I've named specifically as the dog of the night play. The folks on the MMA LOT and Patreon page know who it is, so you can either try to guess in the comment section below or join the Patreon page and find out for yourself. Let's get right to it. First one up, Dan Argueta coming in at plus 155 as he takes on recent UFC signee Cody Haddon. Now, Haddon just won on the Contender Series back on week 2, getting a first-round rear naked choke finish over his opponent. Shows slick striking, decent jiu-jitsu, but I don't know if he's faced somebody that usually puts the pace and pressure with wrestling like Dan Argueta does. I don't think he's faced anybody like that on the Australian regional scene, and facing in an American wrestler who usually has great cardio and a great ability to continuously wrestle chain wrestling attempts together and utilize a good clinch and cage work, I think Haddon could be in for some trouble here. We often like to overrate fighters coming off the Contender Series who have a spectacular or highlight reel performance on there, especially when they go up against guys that are usually UFC veterans. Now, Argueta is definitely not as good as a lot of people thought he would be coming into the UFC as an 8-0 prospect, but I do think he still has enough fight in him and a good enough style to cause the striker Haddon a ton of trouble here. So at plus 155, I think he's more than worthy of being a dog of the night contender. The second dog of the night candidate, the second dog of the night candidate is going to be Nico Price, coming in at plus 250 as he goes up against Themba Gorimbo, who comes in at minus 315. Now, this line genuinely surprised me as I was mystified to see Nico Price as such a big underdog to a guy in Themba Gorimbo who is very reliant on just controlling guys in the clinch or getting early finishes with his wild and reckless striking style. I don't think he's that good. I think he's good at controlling guys that don't know how to get out of those bad positions. And then obviously if he can land big shots, he could possibly find the knockout. But Nico Price could definitely be competitive in the grappling realm and clinch realm, as I think it could be just as strong, if not stronger, to get out of those positions. And I think he has the better gas tank as well. So if Themba looks to grapple here and he fails to do so, he could start to slow down and Price could start running away with this later on in this matchup. And I do think that Price is the slightly slicker striker, so he could definitely land some cleaner shots down the pipe as he tries to thwart the wild, reckless hooks of Gorimbo, land the bigger shots, and possibly even find a knockout of his own. But I do like Price at this big price tag of plus 250, and I think he's more than capable of coming through for us as a potential dog of the night play. The final dog of the night candidate I have for you guys is going to be Brad Tavares, coming in at plus 155. Now, he's 1-3 over his last 4 fights, coming into this matchup against the Iron Turtle, Jun Young Park. But I do think that Tavares has a good enough striking edge here and good enough defensive grappling that he should be able to keep this fight upright and from there land the better combinations and better style overall in terms of getting his shots off. Park is one of my favorite, rising contenders in the middleweight division, but I think a lot of the wins that he's gotten recently were fights that were favored for him, like fights that he was supposed to win. I thought he was supposed to win the Andre Muniz fight as well, but he, in my opinion, got robbed on the scorecards. But I think he's going to have a tough time implementing his game here against Tavares, who, if his durability shows up, should be a very tough test for Park, especially dealing with the discipline and technical striking that we normally see from a guy like Brad Tavares, not to mention the 10 plus years of experience he has fighting at the highest level. So give me Tavares as the third and final dog of the night candidate to go out there and win this fight on the scorecards. Again, I may play all three of these guys, but only one of them ends up being the official dog of the night play. Find out on who they are on the MMA LLT and Patreon page. Link in the description below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the quick picks version of the breakdown for UFC Vegas 98. See you guys then. Peace.